SuperBicycles actually is a Berlin-based bicycle company, and we generally concentrate on compact bikes and on compact cargo multi-utility bikes. So actually small bikes for day-to-day use that are versatile and aligned to whatever you need on a daily basis. It's quite simple. Actually, the brand's philosophy is to make compact cargo bikes, respectively cargo bikes, affordable and available to everybody. Because what we notice is actually that many of the cargo bikes are just super expensive. So we took the challenge actually to make them affordable, versatile and available for people that probably have been not able to buy cargo bikes before or didn't want to spend so much money on such kind of a bike. We have basically seen in the bicycle market that compact long johns are super famous, and there is also a gap in this niche basically of affordable bikes. And being frankly honest, I don't like long tails so much, and with other brands and even sports brands like Decathlon and so on, being frankly honest, I don't want to compete with them. I want to build a bike that's awesome, affordable, and has a chance to persist in the market, and that's why we chose that. The frames are made in China. I mean, everybody knows that most of bicycle components anyway come from Asia, but the bikes are assembled in Poland. So 60% plus of the value generated to do the bike and to assemble the bike is done in Europe. But I mean, at least currently in the current worldwide economic situation, China is basically the country of choice when it comes to bicycle frames. We were looking at the worldwide bicycle market and chose basically a supplier market that worked for us in regards to time, pricing, labor, sustainability and stuff. So, and in the end, we needed to do the frames in China. There was basically no option. When we talk about our approach to pricing, there are two answers. From a business perspective, I mean, there are two options how you survive in a certain market. One is by price and one is by product. I think there are awesome cargo bikes and super fancy designs and technical stuff and so on. We don't want to compete with these guys. We just want to build a solid cargo bike platform, so to say. On the other hand, then it's a question from the business side, how can we basically compete in the market? And that is by price. Our market analysis just showed that there are no affordable cargo bikes. So we basically choose this path. And I think it's very motivating for us because by going for, so to say, price leadership in the compact cargo space, we also attach to a user group that hasn't been addressed by the market up until now. Because let's say 19 to 39, 40-year-old people, what we noticed when we talked to them and when we looked at the market data is they cannot afford cargo bikes. We simply cannot wonder why these people don't ride cargo bikes and why there are no sales in this user group. It's the price. So let's go for that and get young people and get people where the cargo bike is a second or third bike. I mean, let's offer them something that they feel motivated to jump on these kind of vehicles. But the combination of versatility, the product, the brand and the price, I think that's something that has been missing in the cargo bike market basically in general, but especially when it comes to compact cargo bikes. In regards to non-electric versions of cargo bikes, we underestimated the demand for that. So when we've been selling the Founders Edition to the first buyers, we got huge feedback on a non-electric version. So the simple answer is yes, we'll do one. I mean, talking about the specs of the bikes, because that's also something that many people wonder, especially if they look at the price of the bike. It's not super fancy, high-scale, downhill mountain bike components, but being frankly honest, you don't need that on a compact cargo bike. But it's super solid components, right? I mean, we don't use belt drives and we don't use the fancy stuff, and that's the reason why we can offer the bikes at that price. But if you look at the components, compare them to city bikes or other bikes, it's basically the same range. And the good thing about this, we chose and we did go for serviceability. And I think that's the most important thing. That's an important note to add. You don't buy a cheap bike. You buy an affordable bike that is actually offering the same features than most of the other compact cargo bikes. It's just from a product development perspective, squeezed in a way that it's more affordable than all the others. One important thing about the technical setup is the motor. I mean, it's one of the core components of any e-cargo bike or cargo bike. We by purpose didn't go for a mid-motor. Being frankly honest, one topic for that is pricing. On the other hand, from our perspective, a rear hub motor is a way better choice for cargo bikes. And it's very simply to explain. First thing is serviceability. So if something breaks in the motor, if your controller gets watered or whatever, it's basically only one part you need to exchange. You don't need to have the fully sophisticated mid-motor setup to exchange, which is super expensive, but you just take the part that is broken, exchange it, done. On the other hand, there is a technical topic about rear hub motors. And that is basically that the motor pushes you from the back and it doesn't pull you from the front, which we think, especially for cargo bike, is a big topic for the mechanical components. That also means that, for example, as we're applying a chain drive, right? If it's pushing from the back with a chain drive, there is basically no problem for the mechanical components shifting and all that other stuff. And in the end, for the customers, it's a win-win situation, right? You have good serviceability, it's easy and cheap to maintain. And for the mechanical components, they will last. They will last much longer at a very affordable price. And that's why we chose this electrical setup. So first thing about the battery is it's for sure exchangeable and it's not hardwired to the bike like in many other cheap cargo bikes, respectively, especially if you electrify cargo bikes by yourself. On the other hand, we chose Philion as a battery manufacturer. It's a pretty big and one of the biggest battery manufacturing companies, especially if it comes to lithium-ion cells. They're in many cars, for example, the Opel E-Rocks, this fancy new electric car. Why did we go with them is by next year there will be a new e-bike battery regulation. They will heavily challenge the battery casing and the batteries itself, that actually exploding batteries and all that stuff on e-bikes doesn't happen anymore. The case we chose now for Philion, from Philion, is basically already compliant with this regulation, and that's very important to us. It's a 522 watt-hours battery, which on a bike that has this size and this weight brings you 60-65 kilometers real range. I've tested that. So it's the perfect combination of electric setup, bike and battery. And it's safe. I think that's one of the most important things. If you currently look to the web shop, and that's also a general approach, you basically see the bare bone bike for a very affordable price. And then I think currently we offer the wooden box as an accessory, which is including the kit seat, and we're offering cargo boards, basically. This has been stuff that has been done by ourselves because I think that's what most people need. You basically have 50% of the people that want to have a box and put kids or a dog or whatever is living into that. And other people just want to transport cargo. That's why we have the boards. On the other hand, if you consider the bike as a platform, there are so many options. One example is here on this gravel bike packing bike. So the cargo space is actually exactly Eurobox dimensions, which actually means from Boxio, for example, they're doing camper accessories like sink and gas cooker and all that stuff and put that in Euroboxes. So you actually can put up to 6 of them on the bike and go bike packing. I mean, that's a whole new dimension. On the other side, if you consider this Eurobox dimensions, there is a ton of things that you can add to them, and that makes it super interesting. We don't offer fancy folding basket and that stuff, and there are 2 reasons to that. One thing is it's pretty expensive simply to do it from the development and also from the production side. And being frankly honest, the folding mechanism is nice to store the bike, but if you consider how you use cargo bikes on a daily basis, I think the options are much nicer to easily swap what you put on the bike than to have a fully fledged solution that tries to solve everything. And that's basically our approach. So now we offer by our own, we offer 2 accessories and we collaborate already with companies. I also see that on your bike that you have the Fahrer bag. So we will also collaborate with Fahrer, which is a Berlin-based bike accessories company, to just build upon the basis that the bike offers. If it's companies, if it's private persons, if it's maker spaces, if you have a 3D printer at home and think, I don't like the Berlin beer that we have on the front and the adapter, but I'll do one by my own. I mean, just do it. Share it, collaborate, and that's the basis. It should be, or it should become, a community project. For the Berlin Bear, I think first thing is it has been mainly people being on Eurobike that noticed the Berlin Bear. I mean the special Berlin Bear that we have on some of our bikes. It's a culture project, whatever. It's basically showing people in regards to mobility that many things suck. And I think especially in the bicycle industry, comparing it to automobile industry and how mobility still works in urban areas, many people would agree to me. So that's basically, without using words, a sign of things need to change. From now on, our sales strategy will basically be to collaborate with retailers and distributors Europe-wide. So the limits geographically for now will be Europe. And we need to do that. You need to have service, you need to have people that offer test rides, you simply need to have people, especially for cargo bikes, you can talk to and that help you with your bike and customize it and all that stuff. So we will continue to sell directly for people that want to, but we will also in Germany have several locations, especially in the bigger urban areas where we collaborate with retailers. And in other European countries, we will just collaborate with distributors and retailers to make the bikes available outside of Germany. If you want to have accessories, if you want to have a car, whoa! If you want to have a, give me a second.